What will the starter Pokemon be for Pokemon Legends 3, Game 3, right? Doesn't matter where it's going to be, when it's going to happen. What will the starter Pokemon be? That's the discourse right now, and I'm watching an idea spread like wildfire, and I kind of want to just put it to bed, all right? You've thought of this, I'm sure. I've thought of this already. It's going around. Pokemon Legends Arceus did something really cool, and we got 3 separate starters, 3 separate Pokemon put together, forming a new starter trio. That was Cyndaquil from Generation 2, that was Oshawott from Generation 5, and Rowlet from Generation 7, right? Those three generations of those 3 regions. Johto, Unova, and Alola. And then Legend ZA did something that no one expected, right? I mean, it wasn't that long ago. We all thought the starter Pokemon were going to be Snivy, Piplup, and I think the last one was kind of a wild card between like Cinderace and Litten. Doesn't matter. The starter Pokemon that we got for Legend ZA were Chikorita, Tepig, and Totodile. A lot of weird things going off there right now, right? Okay, first off, 2 of those Pokemon are from the same region. Doesn't matter. Kind of broke our brains. We don't think of it. We don't think of it anymore. It is what it is. I want to point something out here, okay? Tepig also joined Oshawott, right? So now we have 2 Legends games. 3 of the starter Pokemon that are available in these 2 Legends games are from the Johto region. You could look at the Johto region and say, they're all done. Chikorita, Cyndaquil, Totodile, they all got treatment. They're done. That trio, that Johto trio is complete. So let's take a look at Unova. Oshawott and Tepig both have been chosen, right? They've had their time in the light. They got a new form, or they got a new Mega Evolution. They got their time in the light. That's great. I'm looking at you, Snivy, but I'm going to come right back to you. Then we also have Rowlet, still all alone by its a little lonesome, right? And then I'm looking at Litten, and I'm looking at Popplio, and I'm thinking, well, that's kind of weird. Those Pokemon didn't get any treatment, right? And I think what's happening is we all are looking at these Pokemon thinking to ourselves, how do we create equilibrium? How can it all be fair, right? I think it's totally understandable to look at the Johto starters and think, oh, they got some extra treatment because they had been forgotten for so long, or there's not a Johto remake in sight. Let's give them some love. I like that, right? So what people are suggesting right now is that the starter Pokemon for Legends 3 is going to be the one, Snivy, which is the remaining Pokemon from the Unova starters, right? So you got Snivy from Unova. And then the other 2, Litten and Popplio, would be the other 2 Pokemon that are not, that have not gotten treatment. And it seems unfair alongside Rowlet getting a regional form, right? That's clean. That's nice. And I could be wrong. I don't think this is going to happen. I could be wrong. I don't think this is going to happen because I think there's a couple assumptions that are happening in order for this to make any sense. For one, it just like, again, it's nice to just, I think we're seeking patterns, right? I think that's what's happening. I think we're seeking patterns. No one has said ever, like Game Freak has never said, for one, that there will be only 3 Pokemon Legends game. That started, the idea that there will only be 3 Legends games started from a theory because there were 3 books on a table. The top one opened up, and that was in the first trailer for Legends Arceus when they were explaining what that game was all about, right? So that theory expanded into a law, and now in every single one of my comment sections I see, anytime I talk about starter Pokemon, all I see are people saying there's going to be 3. People say that there's going to be 3 Legends games, and the 3rd Legends game will complete the set. Snivy, Litten, Popplio will complete the set, and Johto, Unova, and Alola will all have new forms. Each of the starters will have a new form to their name. But the other problem that I feel like no one actually wants to mention is that these forms are not all created equal. Cyndaquil, for example, I mean, yeah, this is the craziest thing. Cyndaquil has a regional form. What would actually make me think that this all fits nicely into a bow is that, this is crazy, Totodile and Chikorita, they don't have regional forms. They have mega evolutions. And I stalled right there because I was thinking to myself, they all, like, why were they also both chosen? That's so random. That's so random. It's so random. Like, everyone was convinced that the starters were going to be Snivy, Piplup, and another fire starter in ZA. And that was all wrong. None of it made sense. And then they chose 2 Pokemon from the same region, and no one predicted it. And I feel like they did that on purpose. So in no way, and again, I'm not mad. The theory makes sense. Like when you say it back to yourself, you're like, oh, that's nice. It fits. Oh, nice. They'll complete the set. But if you look like a one layer deeper, you'll realize that there's no set of anything. Tepig has a Mega. Or Emboar, Tepig evolves to have a Mega. Oshawott evolves to have a regional form. Those are 2 completely different things. 2 completely different things. And even if I'm wrong, I don't care. I don't care if I'm wrong. Even if Snivy, Litten, and Popplio get selected, they're not getting a Mega, and they're not getting a regional form. They're getting probably, if it takes place in the Galar region, for example, they're going to get Gigantamax forms. And I don't think anyone's looking at Grookey and Sobble and whatever, Cinderace, Scorbunny. No one's looking at those Pokemon thinking, oh, they have a new form. Because the form is so specific to whatever game they're in. And I guess this is how I'm looking at it. Like, instead of looking at the Legends games as a group, I'm looking at Legends EA as its own experience, right? You can't even get Cyndaquil. You can't even get Rowlet or Oshawott in Legends EA. You can't get them. They don't exist. So each Legends game is in a vacuum. It's by itself. It's isolated. There's no patterns. I think that's just like what's driving me crazy. I love patterns. But also, we have to look at like the right patterns. These are the wrong patterns. In my latest video on the main channel, I said maybe Chespin. I think Chespin would be a good pick to get a new regional form, right? In this Legends game. Of course, they might not get regional forms, but I would like the starters to get regional forms over Megas. Also, a lot of people said Chespin can't get a Mega because we just were in Kalos. That makes no sense. We would be going to a different region. Chespin would make sense in the context of that new region. Listen, I know I'm just ranting right now, but I think starter Pokemon are so much fun to play around with in terms of like kind of projecting what you want to see on a remake, or even like I guess in recent games like the Legends series. And if we're going to a region, I don't know, I'm just like, when I think about these Legends games, it's like, just because someone said something. And again, I'm not like throwing shade at anyone, but just because your favorite YouTuber said something doesn't mean, even me, doesn't mean it's 100% a law. If someone has 5 million subs or 2 million subs and they put out a video and 1 million people see it, don't come to my channel and say my idea is wrong, because they're also just putting together a nice little idea for a video. All right, this turned into a rant. I'm not mad. I'm literally not mad, but I want to see. That's the other comment. I said it would be cool to see. It would be cool to see Charmander, like, be a starter in like an ancient Galar game, evolve it up into a Charizard. But guess what? It's a different Charizard. It's a regional Charizard. Let's say, that's cool. Like a regional medieval game. Like a game that takes place 1,000 years in the past in a medieval setting where there should be dragons. You're saying a starter Pokemon shouldn't be a dragon? That's such a fun idea. All right, I think my complaining voice has activated. I'm not really that mad. The comments, I'm like, what? I don't know what to say to the comments. The comments keep the comments keep popping up. And again, in a vacuum, the idea, the theories make sense. It's nice. Oh, look, it all makes sense. Snivy, Litten, Poplio, those are great Pokemon. Honestly, I would love to see them get starter to get those. I would love to see those Pokemon get chosen for another Legends game. I would. I just think the only evidence can't be, let's look at the games that came before and make up a pattern that doesn't really exist. I think what's more interesting, and I think this is what matters to me. Why is that starter, like, if you want to pick those three starters for your ideal Legends 3 game, why do they make sense in the region that you're picking? That's kind of like, that's what I'm interested in. You know, if we're doing a Pokemon Legends Hoenn, why do you want Grookey in that game? And Grookey would actually be Grookey would be a good pick for a Hoenn game. Why do you want Piplup? Why do you want Squirtle? You know what I'm saying? That's the conversation I want to have. Take a Pokemon, take a region, and then like invent something fun. You know what I'm saying? All right, this is turning into a rant. I love you guys. I'm just working on something, and I thought I had to say this. Let me know what you guys want me to talk about next, and let me know what starter Pokemon you want to see in the next Legends game.